So, Sweta, my final question for you is, in the previous video, we talked about resume, and then we talked about the importance of storytelling. Now, in terms of how to prep for an interview, especially when it comes to tough questions or question about, tell me about your weakness, or tell me about why you got fired or why you get laid off, or things like that, that people are very anxious to talk about, how they can prepare for those.
Absolutely. Great question there. So what happens is self-reflection is the key. As a hiring manager, there are two type of hiring manager, right? One is genuinely concerned about it. If I can support this person, if the person is right fit, were there any red flag on it? Or the second person would be, how can I support? I really like this person so much. You
Yeah.
know what? Let me ask this question to prep him for future talent pool. And that was me. So
Yeah.
when I'm asking you the questions like, tell me about the time when you had constructive feedback from the management, right? Or your boss. What would your boss say about you? One of the areas of opportunities.
Yeah.
Look at the questions, type of question they're asking. They don't have to say, what's your weakness? That's a weakness question right there, right?
Yeah.
So you want to come up with a story. And we talked about the storytelling has to match with the job descriptions. Now, let's come up with a story on that without saying, here's my weaknesses. What I'm trying to see as a hiring manager, are you coachable? Are you aware of your areas of development? Because nobody wants to work with people who are not coachable, who are defensive, right? That's where the fit aspect comes in. So I'm trying to ask you to prep you maybe later on for future. For example, let's say the type of role you're applying for, it does not require the presentation skills. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go and, come up with a story using the Carl method. This is what I teach inside my program, which ends with R, CARL. Whenever these kind of question comes in, I'd like people to reflect on the lessons learned, right? What that does is it tells people you're humble enough to go back and reflect why that happened, what you need to
Mm.
work towards it for future as well, right?
Yes.
Owning the weaknesses is the key right here. So context, what happened? I had issues with the presentations because of public speaking. I dreaded on it. Here's what I did. The actions. What did you do? Join the public, speaking courses, Toastmaster.
Mm.
Even asked. Me and my manager developed a plan, worked together. So next time when the team meetings are going to happen, I would like that opportunity, and my manager is going to watch me for it because my manager talked to me about it. There was the areas of opportunities for me that I'm not really speaking up in a meeting, whatever it is, right? Whatever that your manager has told you about, let's say, that might not be the areas of opportunities, but that's a concerning if you want to be leader someday. Let's say if the
Yeah.
leadership is one of these skills, a requirement is the presentation skills and public speaking, getting a buy-in from influencer or stakeholders, right? So these kind of things you come up together. It's more about the collaborative approach. How
Mm-hmm.
do you collaborate with the people, same people who are really telling you this is a weakness for you, right? We're trying to
Yeah.
see it because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
work politics going on. We need to mingle with the people we might not like. We might not like the ideas about it. How do you come across and meet in between? So come up with the action. What did you do? Right. And then go with this is what happened after I did this. I tried and I was leading the presentations in no time and I got more better and better.
Yeah.
And you know what, to be honest, and you can go back, the reflections now is lesson learned from that is it was great to have that constructive criticism or whatever it is, constructive
Yeah.
feedback, whatever it is, because that led me realize that I can do this. Sometimes the
Yeah.
feedback is really crucial if it's coming from the right place. And I love feedback. So when you end up with that lesson learned, yes, I was not good at it and I was spoken to, but here's what I did. And the result of was this.
Yeah.
I got promoted afterwards, and my promotion was all based on the presentation skills, right?
Yeah.
So these kind of thing, you got to come up with a story when it comes to leading the interview,
Yeah.
and don't be surprised. You can be put on spot. Have a story, challenges. Somebody had a conflict with your boss. You had a conflict with the colleagues, anyone, stakeholders. Come up with the example where you truly show you're vulnerable, but here's what you did because human nature, nobody wants to work with someone who's
Yeah.
thinking I'm perfect,
Yeah.
right? I don't. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure that you realize it and
Yeah.
you put it out there and being vulnerable, but not at the cost of losing that job, but opening, I am open to feedback.
Yeah. Those are great tips, Sweta. Thank you. And I also tell my client that Make sure that you send a thank you email within 24 hours, emphasizing what the conversation was. What about if you get a rejection in the email? And we know that sometimes due to legal issues, they cannot really give you an answer. So how can you get something or learn, as you said, reflection from the interview?
So when I'm talking to my clients, the rejections, even if it's vague or even it's not vague, whatever it is,
Yeah.
always reply back. If you do want to work with that company, you really like the team, you really like the hiring manager, maybe it's not now, but it's
Yeah.
never going to be forever. If you feel
Yeah.
like that's the team you want to work with, always nurture that relationship because now you have one more contact in that
Yeah.
company. So go back and I would say two things, which is thanks for opportunity. And
Mhm.
it's unfortunate that I make it, but again, I get it where you're coming from. I would love to have a feedback, specific feedback, and let me know so I can join in later on for the similar kind of opportunity, right? You can only try,
Yeah.
ask for it, don't
Yes.
settle down.
Yeah.
Second thing is they come back and say, well, we've decided to go with someone who is very good at this skills. Perfect. So now what's that skill? You do not have it, then upgrade it.
Yeah.
Later on, you can say, thank you so much for the opportunity. The skills, I'm going to brush it up. And let me ask you this. If the similar opportunity comes in, do I have to reapply? Because companies have a policy in place. Sometimes you don't have to because you fall in the 6 months, they archive your file. So this is where understanding the recruiting needs and tools are really important. And you don't understand, you keep on applying for it and they keep on rejecting it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not the right fit, or they're not telling you the right thing, and you would know,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes, even if you don't receive the rejection email, sometimes you don't have to. That's not their job. And I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. If someone is ghosting you, that's not your fault. That's their fault, right? So if you have control over to reply back, reply back. And if
Mhm.
you do not have a control over getting that reply back in a beautiful way that you wanted
Yeah.
to, you know what? Move on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to move on as
Yeah.
well. So the strategy would be nurturing the leads for
Yes.
future if you want to work there, upgrading it if somebody else was chosen. And if
Mhm.
it's internal candidate, there's no beating that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they want what they want, right?
Yeah. Don't break bridges, as I say, like keep those relationships, as I said, because who knows in the future where they will end up, where you will end up, and you can keep up going from there. And again, with that, my interview comes to an end, Sweta. I very enjoyed it, very practical tips. And again, for the audience, you can watch all the previous videos are all posted. You can like, share, comment. And if you have any more questions, you can join us or reach us to our social platforms. And again, Sweta, thank you very much, and let's keep in touch. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.